Hi, my name is Brad Emery, and we're taking a minute tonight to look at my artifact and explain a little more for Standard 6, Operations and Management. We're taking a look at Component 5.1b, which is I've used research and evidence to analyze and identify strategic and tactical challenges for the school system. So for this artifact, I chose to use my time on site council to fulfill the requirements and the volunteer hours, mainly because the site council has encountered a unique challenge that popped up with our school system. So we are near to the Quivera Wildlife Reserve for the state of Kansas, which is a flatlands or wetlands rather reservoir that's protected at the state and I believe the federal level as well. And it's a great resource to have nearby. We really take advantage of that, excuse me. And I know multiple teachers have used their rangers and their programs in the past. The challenge came up when water rights became an issue through a series of some dry years, and what it turned out to be is Quivera, the wildlife reserve, is saying that they have water rights and they need water to continue to function as a reserve, and they don't want to pump in water because they believe that would change the environment. They could have the same process and they could maintain the same ecosystem that they have by pumping in water, but their desire is not to do that. The challenge that's created for the schools and the communities around here is if they don't pump the water, what it's going to do is restrict the water rights for our community and many surrounding communities on this western side of Kansas. And the bigger issue with that is it's a pretty severe restriction, and so that would hit our farmers pretty hard as we're an agricultural community. And the bottom line is it would really affect our school funding and the financial stability of our community. We're talking millions of dollars of loss predicted from this change. And so that's been a few years that we've been looking at this challenge. It popped up in earnest right before COVID and the 2019 school year, and then things have kind of been put on hold as everything has with the pandemic, but it's starting to come back into the spotlight here as we're coming out of a pandemic and back into more of a normal routine. And so this has been appealed up into the state level, and we're still waiting on rulings and kind of decisions to come down so that we will find out what happens. And it amazed me from an administrative perspective that something like this can take years to sort out, and yet even knowing that it can take years, we still have to plan and we still have to account for these challenges and the potential loss of money in the current year and the next year and the following year. And so it really just ties down a lot of our resources in a way that I had no idea prior to looking at this from an administrative perspective. And the challenge has led to our school district as a means of trying to preserve our financial resources and what we believe would also preserve the ecosystem of the wetlands by pumping water in. We've sent them a letter requesting that they choose to pump the water, and we've withdrawn from programs and services that they had previously offered, which is not something we wanted to do. It's not something that we like doing, but it's an opportunity that we have as a school and as a district to just remind them and ask them to make the best choice for everybody. And so I don't have a resolution for this. I don't know how it's going to all turn out, but I appreciate that that's the reality of the situation, and that's a good reminder as I'm looking at administration that there's always something that's going to come up, and you don't always get a nice clean resolution, and you don't always get a nice clean answer on how that all is going to turn out. So I felt like that was a fitting activity and a fitting artifact for this component as we're looking at these tactical challenges for a school system, because this is certainly a challenge, and I'll be eager to see in the years to come how that all plays out for our district.